They're coming to get you.
The walls are closing in now, Elon. Almost every Tesla ever made in America has just been recalled because Autopilot might increase the rate of crashes. Oopsie. Sorry, what's that? Elon Musk's wealth is overwhelmingly in the form of Tesla shares, and Musk says Tesla is essentially worthless if they can't get full self-driving to work.
Focus is solving full self-driving. So, yeah. And that's essential. And like that's really the difference between Tesla being worth a lot of money and being worth basically zero.
They're coming to get you.
The funeral is about to begin.
And what's just happened in the end of 2023? A judge found reasonable evidence that Elon Musk and other executives at Tesla knew that the company's full self-driving technology was defective, but allowed the cars to be driven in an unsafe manner anyway, according to a recent ruling issued in Florida. And if you're not getting Theranos vibes off this, where the company knows the product doesn't work, but releases it on the public anyway.
At the end of the day, I wouldn't run them on myself. I wouldn't run them on my family members.
Laboratory testing, because lab data drives 80% of clinical decision-making.
And it just didn't make sense that internally we had so little faith in these tests, but we're still resulting them on patients.
Though she never went so far as to apologize to the thousands of patients whose health Theranos' product had put at risk.
Nah, instead of that, she went to prison for about 10 years for fraud of one sort or another. Meanwhile, a judge has just found that Tesla engaged in market strategy that painted the product as autonomous, and that Musk's statements about the technology had a significant effect on the belief about the capabilities of the product. The judge also cited a 2016 video that showed a Tesla driving without human intervention as a way to market Autopilot. The beginning of the video shows a disclaimer which says that the person in the driver's seat is only there for legal reasons. The car is driving itself, it said. A video that Musk personally oversaw. Not only that, he went on to tweet it saying, Tesla drives itself, no human input at all, through urban streets to highway to streets, then finds a parking spot. And boy should he know how the car did it all by itself, as he was personally the one who oversaw faking the video. And adds, when searching for parking, the car reads the signs to see if it's allowed to park there, which is why it skipped the disabled spot. When you want the car to return, tap summon on your phone and it will eventually find you, even if you're on the other side of the country, using the automated solid metal snake charger. And in the 8 years since Musk tweeted this solid metal snake charger has never been mentioned again. Yeah, so here we are, basically 8 years later, and Tesla, full self-driving, can do none of the things that Musk claimed it could do now, 8 years ago. I should also mention in passing that if you click on that link now, you get this website. Judge Scott said that absent from the video was any indication that the video is aspirational or that the technology doesn't currently exist in the market, he wrote. And yes, America is way behind the curve on this. In 2020, Tesla was banned from using the term autopilot in Germany, for false advertising. And full self-driving isn't cheap. It's something Musk charges $15,000 for. Although in an act of supreme generosity, Musk has now reduced the amount he charges for a non-functioning product from $15,000 to merely $12,000. And now Tesla is getting sued in California and is using the amazing defense, what people always want to hear when they're trusting their life to Autopilot, that you can't stop our false advertising, that would compromise our free speech. Oh, and its second great defense of its false advertising in the DMV case is the DMV waited too long. Yes, really, it's not that they're claiming that it does anything that they say in their advertising. It's that they waited too long while Musk made false promises that, no, it'll all be perfectly functional next year. And so now, because the DMV has let them false advertise for so many years, you can't sue us now for doing the same thing? This from the inspired genius who paid $44 billion for Twitter, only to reduce its value to something like $15 billion within a year. Then tell the main source of the company's income to get stuffed because, that's how economics works.
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go fuck yourself.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
You arrogant ass. You've killed us.
Go fuck yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is.
This is it! This is the sign!
Yeah, it's a sign, all right. We're going out of business.
Only to admit that this strategy would, of course, bankrupt the company.
I understand that, but there's a reality, too.
Yes. No.
I mean, Linda Yaccarino's right here, and she's got to sell advertising.
Absolutely. So, totally. No. Actually, what this advertising boycott is going to do, it's going to kill the company.
Sam Bankman-Fried, the crypto scam merchant of FTX, embezzled about $10 billion of other people's money. Elizabeth Holmes lied about Theranos, so at its prime it was valued at about $10 billion. And Trevor Milton did exactly the same with Nikola to get it a value of about $4 billion. The combined effective loss of three of the biggest fraudsters in history wasn't as much as Musk has lost on Twitter this year. And that's before we come to Musk's fraudulent claims. Musk's vaporware promises about Tesla dwarf all of these other scam merchants put together. I mean, I'm just going to consider his one promise about the Robotaxis that were going to function fully on Tesla, full self-driving. And this is what he was saying about it in 2019.
So we'll do Model 3, S3 and X as taxis. So the current cost of Model 3 Robotaxi is less than $38,000. We expect that number to improve over time. If you say probably 2 years from now, we make a car that has no steering wheels or pedals. And if we need to accelerate that time, we can always just delete parts, easy. Probably, say long term, 3 years, Robotaxis with eliminated parts, maybe it ends up being $25,000 or less.
Cool, so in 2019, Musk was saying that the current price of a Tesla Robotaxi was about $38,000, but I'm just going to call it $30,000 to make the numbers easier. And spoiler, here we are 4 years later on, and not only does Musk not have a Robotaxi for $25,000 with eliminated parts, hell, they don't even have the Robotaxi they said they had in 2019. Which is maybe why Tesla is currently getting sued for false advertising. But just to appreciate how truly fraudulent this is, tell me, Elon, this $30,000 Robotaxi that you definitely have in 2019, how much is that going to earn for me?
You say, what would be the probable gross profit from a single Robotaxi? We think probably something on the order of $30,000 per year. You say, what is net present value of a Robotaxi? Probably on the order of a couple $100,000. So buying a Model 3 is a good deal.
Cool, so the leader of the company has just told me if I spend $30,000 on one of his cars, it'll earn me a few $100,000 at the rate of about $30,000 a year. And how many of these are they going to have and when?
We'll have over 1 million Tesla cars on the road with full self-driving hardware, feature complete, at a reliability level that we would consider that no one needs to pay attention. Meaning you could go to sleep from our standpoint, if you fast forward a year, just a little, maybe a year and 3 months. But next year, for sure, we will have over 1 million robotaxis on the road.
Okay, so let's believe Elon Musk here for a second.
Oh, sugar. You just gone and done the dumbest thing in your whole life.
That everything that he said there was true. And see how Elon Musk's promises square up with reality. So I go to the bank and borrow $1 million and use it all to buy Musk's robotaxis. In the first year, it brings in about $1 million of money. But oh no, I have to pay 10% interest. I owe $100,000 of interest. Fine, I just used the $1 million or so that just came in to pay back the loan. And in the second year, I basically become a millionaire with a passive income of $1 million. And that's going to be with me for the foreseeable future. All that has to happen for that to be true is for Elon Musk not to be a vaporware salesman. In reality, what would have happened, of course, is you would have spent your $1 million on robotaxis and they would generate zero income. Meaning now not only do you owe the $1 million, but also a $100,000 of interest, and your cars have degraded as assets. In fact, if Musk believed a single word of what he was saying here, instead of buying $44 billion worth of Twitter, he had bought $44 billion of Tesla robotaxis. You know, the ones that were available in 2020. That would mean that next year he would basically be looking at a passive income of $44 billion. He could afford to buy a Twitter per year after this, if only he believed his own bullshit.
You say, what is net present value of a robotaxi? Probably on the order of a couple $100,000. So buying a Model 3 is a good deal.
Meanwhile, in reality, buying a 2019 Model 3 robotaxi of Elon Musk would have been one of the worst possible investments you could make. Okay, but it's not like he says he's going to push a product that he knows he faked in 2016 and knows doesn't work in 2019 onto consumers, right?
How do you expect to educate consumers and get them aware that they should be attaching FSD to their vehicle purchases?
We're going to ramp that up massively after today. Yeah.
Okay, well, it's not like he was doing something really criminal, like telling people that not buying their non-functional product would be like, throwing their money away and buying a horse or something. Right?
I mean, the fundamental message that consumers should be taking today is that it's financially insane to buy anything other than a Tesla. It'll be like owning a horse in 3 years. I mean, fine if you want to own a horse, but you should go into it with that expectation.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is pretty much the textbook example of no-holds-barred false advertising.
If you buy a car that does not have the hardware necessary for full self-driving, it is like buying a horse. And the only car that has the hardware necessary for full self-driving is a Tesla.
I mean, literally, not one single word he said there trying to convince people to buy a Tesla was true.
Like, people should really think about their purchase. Any other vehicle. It's basically crazy to buy any other car than a Tesla. Yeah. We need to convey that argument clearly, and we will after today.
Now, Sam Bankman-Fried is looking at a long time in prison. Holmes got just over a decade in prison, and the Nikola founder, Trevor Milton, was recently sentenced to 4 years in prison for defrauding investors. So what's significant about this? Well, all of these were heralded as geniuses, as visionaries that we could only dream to be like. And anyone who criticized them was just dismissed as fear, uncertainty, and doubt, FUD. They were just trying to poison the well, or they were just jealous of their great success, and so forth. I mean, really, they're trying to, revolutionize the world with cheap, safe blood testing.
Your health is really important to us. The kids adore you.
Theranos gift cards, because nothing is more important than the health of those you love.
Or revolutionize finance.
Okay, the guy you see next to me is the most generous billionaire in the world.
Try to think about what are the most important problems facing the world today, and what can you do to help make those as much better as possible.
Or convert trucks to clean, green energy.
We're really an energy technology company. We're now cheaper to drive than a diesel is per mile, and we make 5 times the revenue of our competitors.
How can you be against that? And now they are all either in or heading to prison. And Musk smokes them all in terms of how much his vaporware promises have pumped the value of the stock.
Essentially, November or December of this year, we should be able to go from, all the way from a parking lot in California to a parking lot in New York, no controls touched at any point during the entire journey.
Amazing. Meanwhile, half a decade later, it struggles to make it across the car lot. Tesla's current market cap is some $800 billion. And bear in mind, Musk has said this is essentially worthless without full self-driving.
Focus is solving full self-driving, essential. And that's really the difference between Tesla being worth a lot of money and being worth basically zero.
And it was through that vaporware valuation that he was capable of buying Twitter. And just by running Twitter this year alone, he's lost more than all of these fraudsters put together. But also significant on this list is Trevor Milton. Why is this significant? Well, you might remember the Tesla Semi event, which was almost a beat-for-beat identical version of Milton's hydrogen electric truck reveal.
We have the Nikola One, unveiled 2nd of December 2016, promised production by 2020, versus the Tesla Semi, revealed about a year later in December 2017, promised delivery date 2019. Who will claim the title of peak vaporware?
Welcome to the Tesla Semi truck event. I hope you like what you see.
You will have a chain on the seats to prevent people from coming in just for the safety. I don't want someone to end up doing something and driving this truck off the stage. But this thing fully functions and works, which is really incredible.
Yes, that is truly incredible, given that later reports would say...
According to a report published by Bloomberg earlier this year, the truck that Nikola showed off to the crowd in December of 2016 was not only inoperable, but it also lacked components, including gears, motors, and the hydrogen fuel cell to power the vehicle.
And of course, Musk not wanting to be outdone on the vaporware front.
The convoy technology, the tracking technology, this is something that we are confident we can do today 10 times safer than a human driver. So I want to be clear, this is something we can do now.
Not only could they not do it now, but they can't even do it with a single car some 7 years later.
ETA and destinations of all of our stations and reroute them. I mean, it's a full smart computer. It's pretty incredible.
And it'll seamlessly integrate with all the fleet systems, the things that are really important.
So will this system be installed in all of the trucks that should be coming online in 2020?
Every one of them.
Everyone, so...
Yep.
Everything just works. The moment you get the truck, it's got everything.
Nothing that either of those men just told you was true, but currently only one of them is heading to prison.
The same will be true of the Tesla Semi. You'll be able to travel anywhere in the world on the Tesla Megacharger network.
They're going to be able to go to the Nikola fuel stations, hydrogen stations.
Yeah, we'll have 364 of these stations going up around the country, both in the USA and Canada, and any hydrogen vehicle can fill there.
5 years later, there are no hydrogen fuel stations available to the public. Boom, vaporware.
And that means we can guarantee the electricity rates, because these will be solar-powered megachargers that charge to a Tesla power pack. It's 24/7, guaranteed low electricity.
Okay, and here we are some 7 years later, and Tesla has precisely 0 public solar-powered megachargers, which charge to Tesla power packs. In fact, they have 0 guaranteed rate solar megachargers. In fact, they have 0 public megachargers with guaranteed rates. In fact, they have 0 public megachargers at all. In fact, they actually want the US taxpayer to give them $100 million to build merely 10 or so of them. Not solar-powered ones, of course, just charging stations. And if you think this bullshit was bad,
we're really an energy technology company. We're now cheaper to drive than a diesel is per mile, and we make 5 times the revenue of our competitors.
Musk simply idles past that in terms of the bullshit.
What this means is it's not just economic suicide to use one diesel truck, it's economic suicide for rail. This beats rail.
And based on this presentation, which was not only fraudulent in 2017, but still would be fraudulent at the end of 2023, some 6 years later, Musk took $20,000 deposits for some 250 trucks. A simple $5 million scam that would have landed anyone watching this video in prison. The real irony being is the electric truck company founded by the convicted and imprisoned fraudster has actually produced about 10 times as many trucks as the one run by Elon Musk. And if you want that ultimate busted moment, turns out about a year ago, Tesla stopped taking reservations for the Semi. Seems like the things that they could do now, in 2017, are things that they've just given up trying to do in 2022. And yeah, it's still like that at the end of 2023. You still can't reserve a Tesla Semi on their website. They will still tell you, literally, every vaporware specification of their vaporware truck, but you can't actually order one. And now you know the truth. It's worth revisiting Elon Musk in 2017 to see just how much of a shameless liar he is.
Incredibly reliable. And that's why we are guaranteeing that this truck will not break down for 1 million miles. I want to be clear, this is from day one. So from day one, having a Tesla Semi will beat a diesel truck on economics, day one. And this is a worst case scenario. So it gets better than this. This is the worst case scenario comparison. This is taking max vehicle gross. It's going at 60 miles an hour, and it's assuming $250 gasoline price. We're guaranteeing a 7-cent kilowatt wholesale price. I want to be clear about that. This is real. These are real numbers, and it only gets better than this. This is a worst case scenario. That's I think really quite profound. We're confident that this is a product that is better in every way from a feature standpoint, that wins on economics against diesel trucks in a worst case scenario, and that defeats rail in a convoy scenario. And production begins 2019. So if you order now, get the truck in 2 years. All right.
Yeah, and a lot of you will be thinking at the moment, why isn't this man in prison already? I mean, by comparison, these are lesser fraudsters and they're either all in or heading to prison. Look, the only reason that Musk is still rich on paper is the same reason that all of these people were rich on paper, because people believed the vaporware unicorn promises.
The company that she started at 19 is valued at $9 billion. You own over 50% of it, right? Congratulations on that.
Forbes magazine has downgraded the net worth of Elizabeth Holmes from $4.5 billion to nothing.
The second they don't, expect things to change very quickly. How did they say?
They're coming to get you.
The funeral is about to begin.
And that's today's video, and we're at the end of 2023. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and to all those who have supported this channel over the year, thank you very much for your support, and thanks for watching.